Do you wish that you could recover faster from workouts or training? Do you wish you had the same energy, power, stamina, and drive that you used to? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases, sometimes by as much as 50%. And, spoiler, it doesn't come back. It doesn't matter how in shape you are or how good your diet is. Just like death, taxes, and sequels to The Fast and the Furious, they're gonna happen, whether you like it or not. But Raph, how does this affect me, a young jiu-jitsu practitioner who believes he will never get old? Well, growth hormone decreases can cause poor workout performance, slow workout and injury recovery, chronic fatigue, mood swings, depression, body fat, low libido, poor sleep, and a lot more. Though frankly, if you're asking me, that sounds like plenty. That's where BioPro Plus comes in. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription HGH growth hormone treatments. It immediately replaces what your body is not getting, and it does it naturally without the needles, nasty side effects, or the expensive costs of typical synthetic growth hormone treatments. BioPro Plus is not a synthetic drug, so it won't shut off your natural production or cause you to pop on any drug tests. Wink, ADCC competitors. Since 2009, BioPro Plus was only available through doctors, but not anymore. Now you can get BioPro Plus shipped directly to you. No doctor visits, no blood work, no pharmacy. If you're serious about your training, and I hope that you are, go to Bioprotein Tech and use the promo code GRAPPLINGHOUR for We're giving them $30 off to our idiots? Okay, it's their money. Go to Bioprotein Tech and use the code GRAPPLINGHOUR for $30 off. So go check out BioPro Plus today before your competition does. What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, Raph Esparza, coming to you with a live Season 5 premiere of the Grappling Hour. It is a pleasure to see you. It's been a while. I know you guys have missed us. I've missed you too. Don't worry, we're going to get to all of the good stuff in just a few moments. But until then, I want to say a few things. Number one, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, give us a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find us at Grappling Hour at Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, any one of those places. We'd love to have you. And as a reminder, you can always chime in during these live broadcasts. It's one of my favorite things to do. So if you guys want to put in comments with our guest today, he is going to be very excited to get some comments, but we'll get to him in a second. A couple other quick little housekeeping notes. Number one, want to tell you guys, big thing. You can see our interviews that we have coming up very soon. And I'm talking ADCC winners. I put a hit out on the Rotolo twins. Guess what? They just got back to me. I told them I can't threaten them with violence, but I can roast them. And guess what? They will be coming on the show soon, as is good friends Giancarlo Baudini, Fiona Davies. We've also got Amy Campo in discussions to return back to the show. Very excited for that one. And I think there's one more. Oh, yeah. Diego Hees. Those are your ADCC winners. We've got them coming up on the show very soon. The only way that you can see those, though, as soon as they air, is to become a Grappling Hour member. The way that works is you can get early access, see our interviews 30 days before they go out to the general public. And if you want to become a premium member, you get access to additional content that is not available anywhere else. So you can go find that at HY.PAGE /Grappling Hour. Become a friend and a fan of the show. It means a lot to us. And also, big shout out to our friends over at BioPro Plus. We saw a lot of those guys who had extra strength at ADCC. So if you're not doing something to work on your extra testosterone, yikes. It's not going to go well for you. All right, our guest today, a returning friend of the show, somebody who I'm very excited to catch up with. It's been about 2 years since I've last talked to him. But every time I talk to him, he's raising money for charity. Specifically, one of the nearest and dearest charities to him is that of the vets. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Operation Knockout, which, by the way, is a fantastic name. I can't believe that wasn't already taken. But he's not only a BJJ black belt under Robert Drysdale, he is a national championship Pan Am silver medalist, BJJ world champion, and he's undefeated in super fights. That's pretty dope, especially because we're going to be previewing one today that I'm very excited to talk about. And guess what, guys? Not only do we have so much more to catch up on, he's got so many things that we're going to be able to talk about in this interview here today, but he's got a super fight coming up on November 19th, and we are getting the exclusive information about that super fight. So why do we stop wasting time and get right into talking with good friend of the show, John Valentine. John, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, sir, how you doing, Raph? By the way, with that introduction, I feel like I should write a big check, not to the charity, but to you. So I appreciate it. So thank you so much. It sounded like a tribute from my mother. So that was good. That was awesome and beautiful. Thank you so much. Big fan of the show. Great to see you again. And thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And you know what's great is every time I talk to you, you've got another charity, another super fight that you're working towards. But I got to ask you, tell me a little bit about Operation Knockout. Who came up with that name? Who's getting the extra raise? Because you need to be sending a check to whoever came up with that name.
Yeah, Vinny is the founder. He has one of the largest insurance companies here in Las Vegas. And the story actually came that he was trying to raise money for Randy Couture. He was going to start this charity foundation. And at that time, he'd never been in a fist fight. He'd never been in a cage fight. So he went to Randy's gym and sold a bunch of tickets. And he's just basically an insurance guy, and said, hey, and I think they got beat up. Him and another accountant or somebody got in the cage and fought for charity. And that's where the idea of Operation Knockout came. We're on our 11th year. I'm lucky enough to sit on the board, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's an amazing charity, completely nonprofit. Everyone you see in the stands on TV are volunteers. We don't keep any money. Every dollar goes back to the veterans. And Randy Couture and the foundation, Val and Scott Haney, who run the foundation, along with Vinny and myself, who sit on the board. They're just an amazing group of people. They're all dedicated for one cause, and that cause is to give back to our veterans, our men and women of the armed forces who, they don't get the love that they should. They're the reason why we have the blanket of freedom that we get to sleep on every night.
So let me get this straight, because I'm looking at some facts here, and one of the things I'm looking at is, I know that you raise a lot of money. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm looking at some numbers and I'm crunching them. Have you raised somewhere in the neighborhood of about $40,000 in the many years that you've been doing this?
Yeah. So just in the last 5 years, just for grassroots efforts and horrible selfie pictures on Instagram and Facebook, which everybody probably gets tired of seeing, but that, and really partnering with people. I want to say I'm inspiring, but partnering with other people who are like-minded individuals that want to give back, and just selling tickets. And yeah, it's about $40,000. And what's beautiful is everyone who's listening has been a part of this journey with me. So I haven't done anything, Raph. So I really appreciate the credit. I really appreciate the kudos, but I haven't really done anything. I think when you look at it, the people who have done it are the people that are tuning into this show. And so it's not about me raising money. I simply put down something that I believe in, a cause, and a lot of people felt the same need to give back in their heart. So together, I'd like to say collectively as a team, we raised $40,000, but I don't think I've done anything particularly by myself.
But
thank you.
Still an impressive number. I mean, I know that we try to do things in jiu-jitsu, and sometimes we're just happy to give an athlete like $500. So it does show a good sense of leadership, and it does show some good initiative on your side. But I would argue this. I argue until November 18th, you're at least at the head of the train that's helping build the steam that gets this. So I do want to pass my compliments, because here's the nice part. All that's the hard work. The fun seems to be the competing, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I think the fun part too is and one of the ways that people give, Raph, which is so beautiful, is they're like, I can't come to Vegas. I can't afford a flight to go to the fight, but they'll call in and they'll donate $40. They'll skip a Starbucks that week. They'll donate $40. And then I hand deliver those tickets on their behalf. And I hand deliver those tickets to a veteran and their family to be able to go to a fight. So I get to put a veteran in the seat on behalf of someone who lives in Indiana, somebody who lives in New York, somebody who lives in different places. So it's such an amazing experience, man, to look out and see nothing but veterans, and they get one night out. They get one night out, So it's a beautiful thing.
We're going to get to talking a little bit more about the super fight in a minute, but I want to ask this because it's so frustrating when I do the math and I realize the last time we talked, another one of these big events, you're doing stuff. But when I do that math all the way through, I think, have you been able to compete much in the past couple of years? Like, has there been anything that has been occupying your time? I know you're a very busy guy, but on that competition side, you're one of those guys that I know consistently likes challenges. So have you been able to get out there and compete recently? And if not, like, what does it mean to be able to get back out there now?
Yeah, the Masters World title or Masters World Championships, I believe, are in November or the first part of December. I'm planning on throwing my hat in the ring. I'll probably be a lot lighter and smaller for that. Maybe take a run at the 150 category. I walk about 175. I think today I'm about 160. So maybe take a run at the 150 class, see what I can do, try to win a second world title. But I haven't competed at the world level since 2017. It's very hard. I have 4 beautiful children, and I have a job that gives me a lot of love as well, and a lot of demands. And I have, I'm trying to really give back this year and the last couple of years to other people as well, meaning my family and friends and people who have really had to take a back seat to everything that I've done over the last 10 years. I'm trying to give back to them. So I'm just trying to show up every day as a little bit better person than I was the year before, I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does. I know that, again, when I say I do the math and I sit here and I think, I'm like, well, man, I know things have been difficult for everybody. Everybody's had to do different things. Things have come up, but it is cool to see that you guys are back and you're doing another big event. Let's talk a little bit about logistics, though. How did this one come together? I know that Randy Couture is somebody that you work deeply with. What exactly is coming up now in this November event? And why is this one in particular so special to you guys? Because it's really dope what you guys put together.
Do you want me? I just actually got a text a few seconds ago. We can be the first people to announce this on TV and on the radio. So if you want it, it's going to hit the presses tomorrow. But if you want it on your show, I'd love to be able to give that to you because you've been such a great supporter of the show. The fight is going to be held none other than the Circa Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, live on TV November 19th. The Circa Hotel is a the showroom alone is a multi-million-dollar showroom. It's covered in big screens. The arena is huge. It is the largest arena that we've fought in and competed in. And it is a completely next step up. The folks at the Circa have really come through. We'll have ticket prices probably tomorrow or the next day, so I can't tell you what those are. They'll probably be in the range of $35, $50, and then cage side $100. There'll be a VIP experience where if you pay, I have to get the exact prices, but you'll get a VIP experience with myself, Randy Couture, other MMA stars. It'll be a couple hours before the event, cocktail hour, all those things, which I would encourage you to show up. I think he's filming a couple other movies, so you might bring some posters down for him to autograph and stuff. But it's at the Circa Hotel. It is going to be televised. It's going to be streamed. It's going to be so everyone can see it. But this is by far the largest event, Raph, and it's going to put us again on the map another year. More importantly, it's going to put the veterans on the map another year. It's going to put them on the radar, and that's what's most important.
Can you tell me the difference between Randy Couture, the businessman, and Randy Couture, the guy who's like...
Is this all right on the show?
Yeah, of course. Please. I wish I was drinking that right now. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
There we go.
Randy Couture, what is the difference between him as the businessman, the guy who's helping make that charity work, and the guy who's kind of, I'm sure in some way, at least telling you something before you go out to the cage and compete?
Nothing. There's nothing different about him. Everything you see in his persona, and the beautiful thing is not having to lie. The beautiful thing is that you can just be yourself and be a beautiful and amazing person. And that's what makes him beautiful and amazing at what he does, is he is the same person. The same guy you see at the charity event, which, by the way, if you've been to one of our events, he's there about 2 hours after the event's over, because he refuses to let anybody leave that doesn't want to get a picture with him, that doesn't want an autograph. And in a lot of those other events, you have to pay for those events, and he doesn't care. He's there for the veterans, and his time is obviously, he's a huge star. He's a huge multi-winning UFC Hall of Famer, but he still finds time to give back to what he needs. He's a Navy veteran himself, so he connects with the charity. But I wouldn't say he's a businessman. He's not. If he was a businessman, he'd charge for his autographs, and he's not willing to do that. He's all things for the troops, and that's what makes his charity near and dear to my heart. My father was a Vietnam veteran, and I saw how they were treated when they came back from Vietnam, and so he's a beautiful, beautiful human being, man. And he gives tirelessly. He's always on some motorcycle ride. I don't ride a motorcycle, but if I did, I'd ride along with him. But he's always on a motorcycle ride or some charity event, and I can tell you he appreciates people like you, Raph. And I don't know that people give you enough credit for what you do. I mean, I know you're producing your job now. You're producing game shows. You're working with TMZ. You're doing so many other things now that are so amazing. I'm proud of you too. So I don't think people realize how this grassroots effort and the things that you do help veterans and support people. It's not me. It's not Rand. It's also you, man. You're part of this team. So thank you.
That's very nice. Thank you. It's the least we can do. I'm a big proponent of help spread the word, especially if things seem to be good events, seem to be really fun and interesting things. The reason why I asked that, though, is because Randy Couture is a competitor himself. So there's a part of me that always wonders, what has he told you after you've competed? Because I'm pretty sure, you get the, hey, we're really happy you raised money. Has he ever given you feedback on your actual jiu-jitsu? Because there's some part of me that wonders, if he goes to that event, I don't think he can turn that part of his brain off.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say he gives me feedback. I have been told by the board not to snap anything or put anybody in the hospital, because that costs money. In the 1 year, and you know which fight I'm talking about, a few years ago at the D Hotel, that actually cost us money. I think it cost us about $5,000. So we raised enough to cover it. But so I would say, and that's not in the spirit. Nobody's in the spirit in this sport of hurting anybody. That's just, sometimes that happens, but that's the only thing that's been told. But no, he lets me have my freedom and space to do what I need to do to raise money, and he's supportive. And whatever he needs from you, or whatever you need from him, if that means you need him to call somebody and help us, a corporate sponsor, donate $5,000 or $10,000. We had a great sponsor last year, Stephen Joyce, who runs all the Applebee's and Chili's. Through a friend, was able to give us $5,000 because just asking people to donate, and Randy Couture was a part of that process. So, but yeah, he's a great man. He's a good supporter.
That's very cool. That's very, very nice to hear.
Very humble, though. I would say he's very humble. You wouldn't expect a guy of that level of success to be as humble as he is, but he is.
I have been around him, and I know his manager. I've run into him a couple times, and they were very nice, like just in a very small encounter. So I didn't assume it would be any different. I thought he was exactly as advertised. So that was really cool to see. On that side, though, I'd love to know, where do you envision this group that you're spearheading, this group that you're working with, I guess I should say, where do you envision kind of like this going in the future? Because it seems like you guys are picking up steam. I love the fact that you guys are getting that coverage. You're getting more and more people, and it seems like as that happens, there's more momentum that's coming along with this group.
Yeah, where would I like to see it go, to be honest with you, Raph? I think you've seen with the insurgence of the Gordon Ryans and even, the Robert Dreisels and people like that. But I think what you've seen is an insurgence of money that can be generated through grappling, right? And ultimately, I mean, I'm old. I'm an old guy, so I'm never going to make a living out of doing grappling. But I would love to see people, the Shane Shapiros, the Jerry Shapiros here in town, a lot of the great grapplers out here. I'd love to see them be able to do what they love and make a living at it. And I am proud of the fact that as a grappler, I hold the record for the most ticket sales, not any of the MMA fights, but just simply from two dudes who get in there with funny shorts and grapple and choke each other and break some stuff. I like to say that gives me hope that the future of this these events that maybe we'll go from having more than 1 or 2 grappling fights and maybe we have half. But it's going to take a commitment from everybody who's on the show. So if there's 12 fights and there's 3 jiu-jitsu practitioners, those 6 jiu-jitsu practitioners on each side, 3 versus 3, they have to commit to donating, and they have to commit to the cause, which is raising money. And when they do that, they'll build the brand, and then people see how exciting. I'd like to feel like my fights, for the most part, are exciting. I think I'm a little bit different person when I go in the cage. I'm a little bit meaner and just not the same calm-mannered guy that I am. So I'd like to say that my fights are somewhat entertaining. And I think as long as people see there's an entertainment portion of this, that people will come out and watch, especially for a cause. Who doesn't want to get choked out for a cause? We all do, right?
I mean, I would rather.
Speaking of which, how's your game? How's your grappling game going?
Oh, it's still wonderfully terrible. But you know what the nice part is? Now I'm actually teaching people. And I would say one of the best benefits of being a teacher at a emerging gym, so it's one of my longtime friends, he's got more of a kickboxing gym. And it's a mixed martial arts, all-encompassing sort of a gym. And I went up to him and I said, hey, man, how are you not having a jiu-jitsu program? And he was like, oh, yeah, we're going to get jiu-jitsu. And I was like, you need to get it stat, because if you get somebody who says, I want to fight, and you don't have a good jiu-jitsu game, the best time to learn was 2 years ago. So, like, we need to get them on that system. So it's been really cool to take some of these kickboxers and say, hey, you don't know what this is. It's okay. I've got patience and been working with so many people. But, yeah, man, I mean, the hardest part is, and this is something that I guess I should ask you for advice, is as you get busier, that time on the mats, it gets so much harder to find that time. How do you find the time to make it on the mats? Because especially when you got big events like these, I'm just training to be healthy and be able to eat my hamburger and justify a beer on the weekend. But you're running a lot of business on your side. You've got a lot of things going on. And then at the very end, you got to get in there and actually compete. So what is that like for you?
Well, first off, I'd ask that you stay off the grappling circuit, because I don't want my ass kicked by you. So I'd appreciate if you just stayed anywhere away from my weight class and just leave me the hell alone.
Here's the good news. I'm not in your weight class. I deduced that as we were talking. I was like, what? I'm a little fatter than him, so I'm good right now.
That's right. Thank you. Just stay away from my weight class. No, but to your point, just we get it in when we can, right? So I realize what I'm never going to be good at based on my age and my time, and I realize what I'm good at, and I spend more time on what I'm good at than trying to recreate what I'm bad at. And that doesn't mean I don't fill the holes. It means I don't learn different things and techniques, but I drill the shit out of the things that I'm good at. And I try to make myself, if I'm a basketball player, and I don't play basketball, obviously I'm 5'7" with shoes, right? So, but if I was a basketball player and I can't shoot threes, and I'm going to learn how to drive to the net, or I'm going to shoot twos, whatever the case may be, whatever horrible sports analogy that would be. So for jiu-jitsu, it's the same way. I'm a grappler. I started as a wrestler, moved into kickboxing long before I was a jiu-jitsu guy, and then got into MMA. So my roots are wrestling. I stay focused there, and that's it. And I work on my cardio to answer your question, Ralph. I'm a cardio guy, weights, all that stuff. I just focus on the things that I can control. I'm never going to be a triangle guy with 5'7", 5'8" legs. Like, I'm only going to be a choke guy, an ankle lock guy. I'm going to be as quick as I can get out of the cage. At 51, the better. I'm 51 now,
here's
so
the good news.
I want to get in and out.
Your leg lock game is good, though. So, I mean, that's a very good weapon to have.
Good coaches, yeah.
One of the best. So, there's no denying that. I noticed you name-dropped Jerry Shapiro, who's a great friend of the show. How do you come into contact with him? How are you familiar with him?
So Jerry Shapiro, Shane Shapiro, their story to me is inspiring. If you know anything about their story, they were both probably headed for the grave and death combined collectively as teenagers. And I've never seen two guys who have completely turned their life around as brothers and committed to a sport and had a clean lifestyle, clean living. They're good people, good family people, and they're one of the most dominant forces on the jiu-jitsu and MMA scene. My only MMA loss, where I was put in the hospital, I think we talked about that a long time ago, but where I was put in the hospital in Utah, that night I fought the co-main event and Jerry fought for the belt. And so we got to spend a little bit more time there, but I'm actually not going to tell you when or where, but I'll be putting in some work with Jerry Shapiro. We were in common connections the last couple of weeks. So I'll be putting in some good work, and I don't know if my opponent's even going to get on. I think he's going to jump on. But I'm not going to tell him what I'm working on. I mean, I don't give a shit. I can tell him I'm still going to finish him with it. But Jerry and that crew down there are going to be great. In addition to the lovely Drysdale crew, my coach Greg, Brandon Guzzo, a great group of just committed people, and Drysdale. But I think, Shane and Jerry are amazing. You've seen them. I mean, they're beasts. I mean, I want to keep that guy as far away from the grappling sport from me as possible. I mean, I don't want that guy to finish me off, but those guys are really great, and they're really just good people. And when you find a group of good people that care about others and want to help, it takes a lot to teach. You're teaching now, right?
Yeah.
What is it for you that shows up for you that says this is what gives me a feeling that I should be doing this more and giving back to others? I'm interested in that because I know what it feels like for me. I'm sure Jerry has his own reasons, but for you, what makes you want to teach?
The excitement that I remember having. So like seeing them see a move for the first time and land it for themselves. Ownership is really big to me. So I'm a big proponent of, I'm going to teach you concepts less than moves. The moves will help you, but the concepts will give you your own artistry. So a lot of the times I work with them and I say, nothing's perfect, but this will statistically give you better results. But if you understand what I'm trying to teach you, you're going to take this away and you're going to surpass people very quickly. So my favorite thing is, one of the guys who I worked with, this kid's maybe 16 right now, and he's about 80 pounds, 90 pounds, and he's always rolling with bigger people, and he's just starting a wrestling team. And I told him, I'm like, what's really good? I didn't wrestle when I was your age. So you're going to come with a brand new expertise. In about 5 years, you're going to be the wrestling guy if you stick with it. And I go, think about the value you'll have to this gym and how much better you're going to be if you stay the course. And this kid's looking at me like, I never thought of it that way. And I was like, I know you're just doing it to do it, but think about it. Now you're going to have all these extra assets and tools. The thing that I think everybody goes through in most of their jiu-jitsu journeys is, this is what I'm good at. This is my special thing. So my first thing was recognizing I was very good at defense. Yeah. And I recognized that actually became an asset to a lot of my friends who compete a lot or who fight, because I could keep them safe with hard training, where we could go really hard and they knew they could trust me. So that it could be really impactful training, which is good for me and good for them. So that
hey, Ralph, I know this is sort of about the charity, but if I were to, I'm more curious from that standpoint, as you said, that I'm thinking of stuff. But if you had to pick between two fatal things that keep a white belt from being great and moving to eventually someday to becoming a black belt, would you say it's ego or fear? What is the biggest for you when you look at that? Like I think back to people I've coached too, and you have fear, ego, you have all these reasons why people just don't go to the next level. I quit, by the way, when I first started jiu-jitsu. I quit out of ego because I lost, and I thought I'd come in as a wrestler and beat the shit out of everybody, which I realized really quickly, when you get beat by kids that are like 15 and you're like a man, then you realize that your ego, and I quit. And so for me, it was ego. I came back later, but what is it for you when you look at that? What's the biggest hindrance from someone? And I think it has to do with life too, right? Those same things will probably play over, but for you coaching, what shows up for you?
Patience.
It's the biggest hindrance.
Patience is the biggest hindrance, in my opinion, because ego can be offset by a good competition vibe. Because if people are competitive and you know how to pull that out of them, what you can do is you can say, there's nothing wrong with being competitive, just don't be dumb. Like, let's make you really good at being competitive. And then they tend to do really well because you can play upon that. But for people who have no patience, it's like, hey, listen, this move may not work for you right now, but when it does, you're really going to enjoy it. So there are some guys who have shown up over the years that I've taught or given privates to, and they look at you and they go, yeah, but how do I do this now? And I go, well, in steps. Let's not jump to being a black belt first. I need you to do this part first. Or they see something really fun on the internet and they go, oh man, how do I do this inversion berimbolo to a back take to, I just saw Mikey Musumeci do this. And I go, right, Mikey's a beast. Right. But Mikey drills one thing all day. You didn't drill it for 2 minutes. So if you don't have the patience to drill it for 2 minutes, you're not going to be on ONE FC winning a championship.
If you were going to go back as a white belt, would you change anything?
I don't think so. I think I needed to be dumb at times, and I wish there were cheat codes I would learn, obviously. But I feel like my MO now is to teach the kids, like, hey, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This took me 2 years to get. If you can get it in 2 months, you're going to advance faster than me. So my big thing is, I think that it's good that I watch so much current jiu-jitsu because I see trends, I see things that happen, and I can shape them in that way. But the stuff that I've already learned, and that's in the past, I'm trying to give them those cheat codes now that I might not have understood they needed in a certain way if I wasn't such a klutz and idiot back in, like...
Will you do me a favor? Because I know you have these access to these cheat codes.
Yeah.
Will you not give one to my opponent?
I don't think I will. But
I like him and I hate him at the same time. So I don't know how you can actually say you hate. I don't actually hate anybody. Even people I hate. It's funny. Even people I hate, I actually don't hate. But I don't actually hate him. But he rubs me the wrong way. He's got a big mouth, man.
Well, I like that. You know, that could be fun, especially when you. I like to tell people this. I don't really talk trash to people. But if you're in my inner circle, I have free reign to roast you, and I use it as a means to pass guard. So, you know, I tell people, I'm like, I'm not probably going to beat you at jiu-jitsu, but I'm definitely going to be funnier than you. So
I think he's arrogant. I think he's pardon my French, a fucking loudmouth. And I don't even know if he's going to jump on the show tonight. I hope he does.
So we should talk about that.
But I do appreciate the fact that, you know, say what you want about this guy. He's a family guy. He's got a new baby. He's a hardworking guy, and he's the only guy ever to slam me in the cage ever in my history of my career. I've never been taken down or slammed, and he suplexed me and about broke my neck in the cage last in 2000. I think it was 2019 or whatever it was. But so I'm going to give him what he's been barking at, and that's what he wants. So he gets another shot. So I'm going to not go easy on him this year. I think I went easy last year. And I don't know. I'll be a different beast this year. So,
well, I definitely want to talk a little bit about that. But I am interested. Why him? You know, I do know that there is that little bit of backstory of, you got the opportunity. You've competed against him before, but this dude's no slouch. He's got a great MMA record. Seems to be a beast. He wants to get after it. What do you think he thinks about you?
Oh, he probably thinks I don't know what he thinks. I think he thinks I'm overrated. I think he thinks I'm small. He thinks I'm a lot smaller than him. I think he thinks his mind games are going to get in my head. I've been doing this for over a decade. So his mind games and his trash talk aren't going to do anything for me. All it's going to do is motivate me to do two things: kick his ass on November 19th and raise more money for the troops so that more people can watch me kick his ass. That's the only thing it's going to do. But I do respect the man, any man who's willing to step in for no money. And let's talk about this. This guy doesn't live in Las Vegas. So he's flying in on his own dime. He's paying for his own room, arguably to come down just to kick my ass and to raise money for troops. So anybody who's willing to do that, look, I'm not going to shake I'm sure last year he went at me at weigh-ins. We had a few words. I grabbed his throat. He grabbed my throat. We got in each other's face. I'm sure it's going to be the same way this year on November 18th at weigh-ins. I'm sure. But after the fight, I'll be more than happy to have a beer with him. But yeah, I want him. All I can say is I hope he brings his A game, because I'm here to do two things. I'm here to raise money. I'm here to beat the shit out of him on November 19th. That's my goal. Those are the only two things I'm focused on.
Those are good goals. I want to ask this, though.
Yeah. And I hopefully to have some set of abs so I don't look fat on national TV.
Are you going without the rash guard though? Because that's the big thing.
Yeah. Oh no, I have to go Vale Tudo half naked style. Have you ever seen me with clothes on?
I'm not trying to internet stalk you, my friend. I don't know. Because, that is a choice. People do that. We call that ADCC style without the rash guard. So I get
you can't grab onto it. There's nothing to grab onto. I like it. You can't grab onto it. If he sweats, if I sweat, then he has a hard time getting a hold of me. So it's not just because I want to take off my shirt, but it's also because it's just, for me, it's easier. It's more natural to compete that way. And he can't grab anything. He can't grab my rash guard. He can't.
Smart choice. So let me try and go back just a little bit here, because when you were mentioning him, you were hoping that he was going to show up. We did put an invite out to him. So I don't know if he's listening or he's watching right now, but the invite is to him if you wanted to stop in. So are you surprised that he's not here? Because I don't currently see him in the room. And I don't know where
the hell he's at. For him. I don't have any texts from him either. And no.
Okay. With that being said, do you think that, I don't know, is he scared? Did he not want to do it? Like, why do you think he would no show? Do you think he just forgot? I guess those are the questions.
Yeah, I think he's I don't know. I think he's trying to play some mind games and it's not going to work. So if he thinks by being elusive that he's going to in some way get a special pass, he's only going to piss me off. I wish he was here so I could look at him as a man and wish him luck on November 19th. But if he thinks in some way this is all it's going to do is piss me off. And I prefer a very calm version of myself when I compete. But I mean, if that's the version he wants, then I'll be more than happy to oblige that version for him.
I'm glad.
So is he not waiting?
I don't see him. So I've been keeping an eye out. I can send another note to see if he is still available. And as we are doing that, I would just very quickly ask, though, and perhaps these are things that are figuring their way out, which is, I always wonder when people get into these competition things, they don't do more stuff like this. Very few times do people actually appear on camera. You entertained it. You were welcoming it. I know he was up for it, and I don't know what the issue is just right now, and this is live television. These things happen. But were you surprised that he was up for kind of doing this? Because it does take a special kind of person to be able to kind of like do that like split screen. I'm going to tell you what I think about you. Because most Jiu-Jitsu people don't do that.
Did he really not show?
I don't
see him. Did he really not show?
I do not see him. I will send another.
Why don't you give me 1 second? Why don't you see if there's any questions? I'm gonna call his ass right now because.
Okay.
Should we call him?
Why not?
Ask him where the hell he is.
Sure.
I'm gonna call him right now.
Okay. Well, this is definitely unprecedented on this show. We have never actually called another guest to say, where the hell are you? But there's always a
I have his number, so this is how he's going to go. Maybe I'll let you talk to him.
Oh, okay.
Right to voicemail.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to help his cause.
Oh, no.
I don't give a shit if he doesn't come on the show or not. We're still going to move forward. We're still going to raise money. And frankly, it just pisses me off, but I don't really care. That's not what this broadcast is not about me. And it's sure the hell isn't about Jeff Carson. And that's who it is. I'm fighting Jeff Carson for the third time. So, and the show is not about him. It's not about me. It's not about my ego or my temper with him right now.
But
the show is about raising money for the veterans. That's what this show is about, and that's what this cause is about, and that's where these checks and money will go. And it's about everyone who's listening in, who has the opportunity to make a difference. $20, man. Buy one ticket and give it to a veteran, or just donate the money. It's tax. It's tax deductible, and we get a chance on November 19th. Raph, you and me and the rest of the group that's listening, we get a chance to make a difference for people who deserve it. Who put their lives on the line for us.
So here's the thing. Things have changed in the time you and I have talked. It does appear that I do have a third person on this show right now. I'm just waiting to see if we can plug him in. I guess without further ado, we should go ahead and bring on the other side of the November 19th edition of a super fight. It's very interesting to see how this will go. I've never done this on the show, but here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. Right. Oh, he says, oh no, he just dropped out. Oh no. He says it's not working on I'm driving home.
So he decided to show.
I saw him for a split second. I'm looking to see. He may not just have reception is maybe what we're looking
Tell him
into.
I know his limo ride from wherever the fuck he's traveling from is important. Pull over and take the call.
What? I think I just spotted him right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are welcoming right now Jeff Carson to the show. Jeff, can you... Oh, I think we just lost him. So let me see. I'm going to have him try to re-enter again shortly. So, oh, I just saw it. Guest is in the green room. Here we are. Let's see if he is being brought onto the show. Hopefully this works. Definitely tried to plug him in. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's able to sustain. He may not have a good connection out wherever he is. Still not working. All right.
Well, he's not going to have a great connection on November 19th from the hospital either. So he probably should make all his calls now.
That's definitely something we can ask him about if we do have him on. Man, that's very unfortunate. I feel like he's just in a space where there is no where no reception. So we might just have an issue where we're not able to get in touch with him based off of that. But it is, I guess, at this point, not for lack of trying. So, unfortunate.
Well, why he's trying to log on, Raph, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to just tell everybody at home and everybody who's watching the ways that they can support. Okay, so there's really three ways that you could support. One, you can show up, put ass in seats, and then be at the event live and maybe help carry Jeff out on a stretcher. When he loses, you can do that. You can help there and be there. Two, you can just simply go to the website, which will be up tomorrow. The website, you can actually donate to the foundation directly. Or if you want to donate and allow me to give a ticket on your behalf to where I'll give a ticket to the veterans, there'll be a special link on the website that you can do that. I'll have my name and picture. You click it, and then all the money that's in that pool, that Annie of money, we'll purchase tickets, and I'll hand deliver those tickets to those people. But I really, really hope that everybody shows up and supports, that they skip a meal, they skip coffee, they skip, whatever it is that they're doing that week, and remember our men and women in uniform and really what they're supporting for us. By the way, Nikki Guzzo, if you're listening, one of my coaches, Brandon Guzzo, his lovely wife, Nikki Guzzo, is in the medical profession, and she's also in the armed forces as well. So she just got back today. So welcome back.
Wonderful to see. We did get a couple questions, actually, as we were in the middle of waiting. The first note here was from Ian B. that says, Valentine, first round sub. So that is from Ian B., who's calling an early prediction for you to win on that day.
Wonderful. I really appreciate that. He's a great guy too. He's a great competitor in his own right. So that's an honor to come from him. So thank you for the world support, and I really appreciate that. And again, Ralph, I hope you understand too. I don't really care if people come out and support me or support Jeff. If they want to support Jeff, that's cool too. Just come out and support. You're not supporting a fighter or a grappler. You're supporting a cause. So I really appreciate that. But thank you so much for that comment. That meant a lot. I could feel that one.
I wanted to preview this, but Destiny M. Hastings says, what's the URL that goes live tomorrow?
The URL tomorrow will be from the actual foundation, where we'll announce where it's at. I got approval tonight to tell you it was at Circa Hotel. Nobody knows, but everybody tomorrow will find out. It'll be, obviously massively covered. Social media. There's a couple TV shows here locally that will be on that will announce it as well. But it's now official. We have signed with the Circa Hotel, one of the largest hotel casinos in downtown. So it's going to be super exciting. So I really appreciate that we were able to do it on the show with you.
And cool. And she was following up by saying, what's the website's address? So is that something that we can know through the organization? Do you keep an eye on that?
Yeah, what I'll do following this, I really appreciate it, Ralph. What I'll do following this is I'll provide the website, a couple links. So if people want to donate and go right to the website, right to the foundation, so they can do that. They can download forms to get their tax deductions and those things. But really great question. It's a nice reminder for me to put that on tomorrow for sure. Thanks, Ralph.
Easy to do. And our thanks to Destiny, who's making sure to push out. This is great to have somebody asking those questions. I have a couple questions here. So while we're kind of circling here, and no, thank you, Destiny. You're great. Appreciate you. I should ask this. What is in that glass? Is it a regular martini? And how do you take your martini, sir?
Actually, this is sparkling water.
Sparkling water. Okay.
I actually thought I would piss him off by making him think I was drinking while I was training. It's actually sparkling water.
Which sparkling water, then?
What's that?
Which sparkling water?
Of course, Perrier. Of course. What else will we drink?
So sorry.
Yeah, what else will we drink?
So
no,
foolish.
It's fine. Do you like sparkling water as well?
Kind of. I used to be a big soda person, so I try to use the bubbly, the fizzy water to try and trick my dumb brain so that I don't have as much.
Yeah, no problem.
I definitely.
Yeah, and it's good. I just thought I would piss him off. I should go get a real drink, because since he's obviously too busy and too important to show up to for this interview, then I suppose was he able to log back on?
I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to see if that works. I don't know.
Let me tell you what things I do like about him, because I've been kind of talking a little bit of crap with him. He's a legend. He's got over 20 MMA fights. He is really a regional legend in terms as it relates to MMA. He's fought for 5 title defenses. He is difficult to compete against because he's very big. I think he's 6 feet. So he's very, very difficult to get a hold of and handle, and he's just a very difficult guy. He's a very country folk, and I love that. Do love that about him. But he just loves to talk. Just loves to talk this. He just loves to talk, and for a good cause. I get it, and he loves that freaking cowboy hat. He wears that cowboy hat everywhere. He wears it when he weighs in. He wears it when he's in the cage. He wears it when he's walking in the cage. So good old country boy. He's a good guy in that respect, though. So maybe he'll take me out to I'm not going to be doing any 2-step with him, though, for sure, in the cage. So if he's looking to dance, I'm not looking to dance. I'm looking to finish.
Understood. I see a note here that says, this is from Jamie J, and it says, I blew my ACL doing BJJ, and after a long rehab, I've realized boxing is a superior martial art for street situations. I don't know what that is, but I don't know where that came up in the conversation.
Is it a question, or is it a question, or is it a feeling?
I think it's a feeling. They have an adorable dog in the photo, so I'll give them that. But
yeah, maybe it could be, right. So, I mean, I've got extremely small arms. My arm length is very short. So if you watch any of my MMA fights, I always close the distance because I have horrible boxing. But I guess if you're physically built to be a good boxer and that's your niche, I think the best defense to any street altercation is to simply walk away. Or I can run faster than I can punch for the most part. So it's easier to walk away than it is to get in an altercation. But yeah, I would agree. Boxing is one of those big ones, right? Boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo. I like Aikido. It looks good. I don't know how street stuff is, but I do like Aikido too. But
dude, whatever you're training, it's good.
Dude,
I just get some kind of training in you. I get very nervous for people who don't do any kind of martial arts to at least be able to do it. And I'm not saying that even if you do train, you're going to be perfect. I still agree with John. The best way for self-defense is usually to avoid the situation. When I was growing up, never got into a fight. You know why? Smart ass. my mouth, literally win the crowd over. Nobody ever touched me. And the thing is that I had people who wanted to fight me, and it wasn't like I was in terrible shape. I didn't know how to fight, but I was fairly durable, but I didn't even have to get there just because I would literally roast them. And then people were like, oh, yeah, that's pretty funny. Then all of a sudden,
nothing feels better, right, Raph? Nothing feels better than actually not fighting and then walking away and laughing, knowing it's almost like you already know the ending of the book and they don't know it. They're talking and they want to fight with you, and you've already read the book and you know what the last chapter is going to read, which is not going to be good for them, and you're just sort of sitting there laughing calmly because you already know. So the best that's when you know you're comfortable, at least if it's boxing, MMA, whatever it is, right? Is that you're calm and you don't need to react to every guy who's loudmouth and wants to fight.
Yeah,
it happens every day.
And I don't have any need to prove how good I am or not. I'm just but upside of that, it's where I realized I would make people laugh. So proved to be very financially lucrative for me to do that. So I'm not going to tell those people that was a bad idea. But Jamie did follow up and said, good response. I've just noticed that badass black belts were like children when it came to doing stand-up. I mean, it depends on the people. And I think what's happening now is I think that era of people just training one martial art is starting to deplete. You're getting people who get a lot of crossover. So I would be very wary of that black belt that you're calling a chicken, if they would. Because, you know what's great? I love seeing people like Buchecha going out there and testing himself. And he's finishing with the heel hook, but he's starting to learn a little bit more. So it says... I was
a kickboxer, Ralph, before I was a jiu-jitsu. So I was in kickboxing for years before I was ever in jiu-jitsu. So I think a nice combination of all of them. I'm not great at anything. I'd like to be just well-rounded in some things, right? But I wouldn't say I'm great in really anything.
Recently, there's two things, I guess I should say on this one. Number one, I had somebody who is an amateur fighter, and he was frustrated that I was taking him down and I was submitting him a bit. And he was like, do you mind if we like throw some, like not real strikes, but like just kind of like simulate it and throw it? And I looked at him and I was like, I'd really prefer to just keep it jiu-jitsu, but you fight, okay. And I let him throw a couple strikes, and then I just took him down, and then I was punching him from the side. And I looked at him and I was like, hey man, just because I don't doesn't mean I don't know how. It's just I prefer not to. And I don't like advertise myself as somebody who's really good at this. It's just I'd prefer not to. So
it's good. It's a good place to be.
It's a great place to be, but it's also like, I'm not going to tell somebody like, I'm going to win 5 fights. It's like, dude, this is really annoying. So that's part one. Part two, I should tell you this. I think one of the nice parts about learning how to be funny in a crowd in a high-pitched situation is I recently got a call from a promoter who did not like one of the impressions that I did. And he was like, I'm not going to credential you for this. And I was like, whoa, really? Oh, okay. We've been doing this for so long. I've never had somebody say that I'm unprofessional in that way. But sure, what was the issue? And he's like, it's a small community, and you got to be able to say the jokes to people's faces. And I was like, oh, I do that. Yeah, I have a policy on the show to never do a joke that I wouldn't do to somebody's face. So no, that doesn't work for me. But hey, man, thanks for the call. Appreciate you. Not covering your event either. So
not covering anymore. Like what? Seriously, like. I don't give a shit. You've come at me. You've always been a great friend of the show, but you've asked me some tough questions at times that are uncomfortable, and that's why I love this show. I don't think people who don't follow you and people who are just jumping on for the first time, man, if you want some good grassroots, no bullshit interviews, then go back and watch your stuff, man. The Grappling Hour is like legit. You've interviewed some of the biggest names in the sport, and you're honest and real. You're kind when you need to be, and you're tough when you other need to be. And that's why I love this show, man. So sorry, if it's not his cup of tea, then I'm sorry you're not willing to take some feedback. But if you can't laugh at yourself, then I don't know what the hell. Shit, I'm 51. If I didn't laugh at myself every day, I shouldn't even be doing this. I should be playing like golf or something, but I'm horrible at golf. And it's too expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. I just tell people, listen, you don't have to get along with everybody. Not everybody gets along. That's not how this works. But we're always in the business of being good to people who want to be good to us. So I have no problem with it. I left it open. I told them, I was like, hey, if you ever want to get to know us better, you're more than welcome to talk to us. But I think the fact that you're calling me because you train with the guy who I did an impression of maybe tells me you're in your feels. And
hey, Raph, what are you doing on your other stuff? I know you've bridged off and you're doing other stuff. So don't you have a whole nother TV show that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, so this is my baby. This is my big thing. I love doing this one.
Right.
But yeah, I do produce some other stuff. I do work on the side for some other shows.
But don't you have another outlet you're doing here other than the Grappling Hour, right? You have another show that you're running.
Yes, I'm actually working on a couple different game shows, so I produce those. But Verbal Tap and Grappling Hour are the two big ones. So those are my bread and butters.
Verbal Tap was one I was thinking about, so it's good.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I can honestly say this, and we had this. I think we had this question last time we interviewed. Somebody asked me, how do you raise? I think at that year I raised like $10,000 in like 8 weeks for a grappling mat, right? So it wasn't like some UFC fight or something, but it was a grappling mat. And they asked me how you could do it. And I think I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I said, well, one of the ways I do that is one, connecting to a cause that you believe in. The other two is connecting other people to a cause that you want people to believe in. And then the other third thing is finding a platform to share that cause with everyone. And I can honestly say, in the $40,000 that we've raised, or at least I've raised collectively as a team in the last 5 years, have largely been on the shoulders and the backs of things that you've done. So, you don't get enough love and credit for what you've done, but without this grassroots effort, without you giving a voice to people who are trying to do something bigger than themselves, nobody would raise any money. It would fall on deaf ears. So I thank you for you, your show, your team, for everybody listening in to make a difference, man. So you're doing really, really good things. I don't
Appreciate
think we can
that, man.
put a
Thank you
dollar
so
amount
much
on how much money you've raised.
Well, that's very nice, man. And like I said, I love what I do, and I feel like it is one of the great pleasures is to be able to tell people stories and to help them find ways to make this more interesting, because let's face it, sometimes it can be very boring. So I do my best to try and do my part. I'm good with narratives. I'm good with hosting and telling jokes and making people feel comfortable. So that's my little contribution to this whole thing. Let's start.
If you got feedback for me, if you ever want to give me feedback on my stuff too, you can make fun of me and make jokes about me, or tell me what I need to do to improve. So
honestly, I'm always happy to roast people to their face. I'll tell you one joke that I recently told a mutual friend of ours.
All right.
Jerry Shapiro easily can beat me up. Easily. Okay?
Beat everybody up.
How would you describe the way he looks? Like what is he looking?
Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
Or his brother Shane?
Jerry specifically.
Every time I see Shane, I go, "Oh, you do work out?" And he's like, his chest is like the size of like your body, right? And I'm like, "Oh, do you even work out, bro?" Right? Jerry, I don't know, man. He looks unassuming, but he would literally kill both of us in a matter of like probably 45 seconds, I would argue.
Yep.
Even being trained, I think I'd probably last a minute with him, maybe 45 seconds, if that.
So
maybe he's intimidating.
Yeah, he's not able to ride certain rides on roller coasters. That's fine.
Oh, you're talking about his height.
Well, we're getting there. The height's the entry level joke.
All right, you're talking about his stature.
Yeah, but he recently lost a comp, but it was a good match, and I sent him a note, and I was like, because normally like people don't always want to hear like, hey, good job, all that sort of stuff. So my thing is when they're really close to us, I'll roast them a little bit, and I sent him a note, and I just go like, hey man, rough match, but your plugs and your hair look great. Because normally he's very bald, and he has this great hair now, and it looked like the Steve Carell thing from season 2 to season 3 on The Office, where he just immaculately got better hair. And his first word back to me was, "I hate you. That's amazing. Thank you for the joke." And the thing is, because he can beat the shit out of me, it doesn't even register. It's not even a mean joke. It's just him being like, that's not even real, but it's funny enough where,
arguably one of the dangerous guys in Vegas, and
Absolutely.
arguably one of the nicest,
and,
right?
Yeah.
Which is a very dangerous combination to be sweet, loving, kind as a man, alpha male, dangerous as fuck, but also just be just a good dude.
But, you know, you can't do those jokes to everybody, but they're the type of jokes that I do to people who I know can take it. And more importantly, don't want the BS of like, hey, man, rough day. I know, you know, it's like, no. I watched, I support you. I still got your back, but here's a joke. And when he saw it, he laughed so hard. And that's the response you want from your friends that let them know, like, hey, I pay attention. I'm watching your super fights. I'm watching him at ADCC. I'm watching him everywhere because that dude is one of those top tier individuals that I've run into in the sport.
Speaking of jokes, my opponent likes to send me jokes every week and stupid shit back and forth every week. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to read a couple of these to you.
Please.
He said, this, and I quote, this was earlier in the week, "Are you even training, or are you just traveling around the country posting selfies?" And I said, well played. And I said, well played. I said, well played. And I said, well, I'm sure you would take a selfie, but the only camera that you have available in your town is at the county fair, and it's a photo booth for $2. So I gave it to him a little bit back. So
that's pretty good. Yeah, I would say in the county jail is the only place where you can get a photo, but that's just me, you know.
Yeah. And there's some other stuff on here I won't, but literally, I don't know if you can see this. This is all his shit. Like this every week, he's just posting. He's just sending me shit. So it's just he's poking. Every day he's like poking me with something. He's just poking. He's poking at me.
Here's the good news. It sounds like it's going to be a fun time. Let's do this. Let's start to circle on that third base, but let's remind people what is coming up. It's November 19th. Let's remind them where they can go to find tickets. Let's tell them that good information, and then we'll do a separate one in a second when we do some shout outs for sponsors. But I want to make sure people are crystal clear on where they go.
November 19th, the Circa Hotel in downtown Las Vegas, live, national TV. It will be taped. It'll be aired twice, so you can watch it live or you can watch it later. I think it's BSN Sports. It'll be aired on there. An amazing an amazing card. In addition to my grappling match, which hopefully will be over quick. I'm going to get it over really quick because I'm old, and I probably, according to him, I need to go back to the one of his jokes was the retirement home. So I need to go back to the retirement home, which I am 5 years. Apparently I am 4 years away from retirement legally, right? So he's actually right. But in addition to that, there'll be anywhere from 10 to 12 MMA fights. There'll be a title fight main event. Guest appearances by celebrities that are going to be there. It's going to be such an amazing event. The only caveat I would give is that it is a 21 and older show. So unfortunately, like the events in the past where kids could come, this event and the hotel is a completely 21 or older hotel, which could be good. Yeah, girls' night out, guys' night out, girls and guys' night out, guys and guys' night out, girls and girls' night out, whatever out you're out. But if you want to get out, it's a 21-year-older show. Tickets will range anywhere probably from $35 to $100. And if they want information until the link is posted, just send me a DM. I respond to all of them, and I'll say, hey, ticket link's going to go up here. I respond to everybody, and if people want to figure out ways to do some other sponsorship, my shorts are half full. If anybody wants to sponsor their business on my shorts, all the money you sponsor goes back to the veterans. I don't keep the $300 you put to put your logo on my shorts for national TV. It goes back to the charity. So anything like that, you want to do it, just send me an inbox. More than anything, Raph, honestly, if you can't support it and you can't buy it, you can't come up with the $20, I get it, or the $30, share it. Ask somebody. You got a cousin who owns a landscaping business, and maybe you could donate $100 to the charity, do it. If you don't have the cash, you have a voice. We all have the ability to give back. It doesn't have to be monetarily, but we all have the ability to give back for something we believe in. And I hope everybody who's listening to this believes in our veterans, because I know I do. I know you do. I think most of us do. So, and I think the men and women in the armed services who are putting on the line for us, that night's going to be for you. It's not about me and Jeff. It's for you guys. So I hope you're not disappointed.
That's great. And let's also give an opportunity right now for you to go ahead and shout out anybody who's helping you get ready and any sponsors that you want to go ahead and really just give some acknowledgments to, sir.
Yeah, let's start first and foremost, which I did not do a great job last time. Let's start with the team, Raf. So my team, my amazing team at Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu, I came in and completely evolved as a human being, as a man, because of Jiu-Jitsu. It changed my life. I'm a better father. I'm a better friend. I'm a better person because of Jiu-Jitsu, and I owe it all to Robert Drysdale, my mentor. And then I also owe it to Greg for Fight for Us Jiu-Jitsu, who is the main gym that I go to. He's also a Drysdale black belt. My best friend, if you saw my post, one of my best friends since over 30 years is Brandon Guzzo. He's a third-degree black belt under Pedro Sauer, UFC coach, one of the most decorated and dangerous individuals in the world, which is kind of hard because I grew up with him and I thought I could beat him up back then. I actually could have never beat him up, but I've known him since I was 15. He will be in my corner like he has always been for every event for the last 10 years. He will be joining me. And then my sponsor, one of the sponsors that have been amazing to me is Bucked Up. BuckedUp.com. They're a supplement energy company, a fitness lifestyle company. They supported me when I really needed support back in the MMA days. They gave me clothing and supplements and all that. And they're still continuing that journey. And I love these guys, Ryan and the whole team down at Bucked Up. So go to buckedup.com. But those guys are amazing, truly amazing stuff, man. I've been fans of their products before they ever sponsored me. So I just want to thank you. Last one I want to give a shout out to, which I'd be remiss if I didn't do it. We have Vinny, we have Randy, we have all this. Tough Enough started the career of Ronda Rousey, started the career of a ton of people. So Tough Enough, Jeff, and the whole family down there that has done that. And I know they're a fan of the show and you're a fan of them, but I can't say enough about Jeff and the Tough Enough family. They're donating the cage, they're donating the lighting, they're donating the infrastructure to put this event on, and we couldn't do it without people like that who are willing to do that. They don't make any money. It costs about $20,000 in insurance and to put up that cage, and Jeff's fronting that money, and he's stepping up to do that because he believes in what we believe in, our veterans. So I say thank you to Jeff and the rest of the crew. Thank you. That's my diatribe. It's a long diatribe. I apologize.
It's okay. It's worth it because there are a lot of people who really go out and help make this work. And listen, there's a lot of people that have been supporting you. You've been doing a great job of raising money. And more importantly, I can tell, that there's a sincere effort to try and make this get bigger. And you mentioned it multiple times, but it really isn't just about you. It's about a community of people coming to help together and doing the thing that we love, which is mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu. So I think that's a really dope thing to see. I wish it the most success. Again, November 19th. Can't say that enough. Details to follow this week. You guys were the first to hear this information, but more and more details will go ahead and avail themselves in the coming days. You can follow John Valentine at JohnValentine89 on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to go up. So make sure to keep an eye on that. John, I'm going to just do some housekeeping here and go ahead and start circling off. But I appreciate you. It has been a blast catching up with you, sir. And I know you're going to do great. So I'm very excited to see that happening and look forward to perhaps, depending on things go, a roast text.
And I hope a lot of this is in fun. I'm not a contentious guy. I love Jeff. I still am going to kick his ass on November 19th, but I love him as a person and as a human being, and I have no ill will towards anybody. So I hope everybody takes that with the right amount of spirit.
I think so. I think they get it. I think you showed up with the martini glass with Perrier in it. I think they should get the vibe at this point.
More douchey, right? Couldn't be more douchey. The douche hour with John.
Listen, you could. I'm hoping. You don't have to. Here's the good news. Last note here from Rebecca Elliott that says there are more sponsors coming your way, John. Heart emoji. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for that. We appreciate you, John. I'll say bye to you off air in just a second, but I'll do a quick little exit with our friends here.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of the Grappling Hour. I got so much love for you guys. It's always a blast to see you. As a reminder, go support us at HY.PAGE /Grappling Hour. Become a paid member of this community. Why? It helps me. It helps me get great guests. And I mentioned a few that are coming up. The Rotolo twins, Giancarlo Bodini, Diego Hees, Amy Campo, and Phelan Davies. I'm telling you, nobody else is putting those people together. Not this quickly. And you will see those interviews going up before anybody else if you become a member at HY.PAGE /Grappling Hour. It is $5 a month for early access. You see it 30 days before everybody else. But if you want that good, the extra stuff, the tape studies, the extra content that nobody else sees, go ahead and give us that $10 premium monthly subscription for extra content. And I tell you this because you get to see the type of stuff that nobody else gets to see anybody else. We create extra episodes, and not just that, but we create extra bonus episodes that tell you people who they respected the most. So we asked Drew Dober, who's an opponent he respected the most. We asked Gary Tonin, who's an opponent he respected the most. And we do special things every single month. So stick with us, and don't forget, the easiest thing you can do, like, subscribe, follow us at Grappling Hour at YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and on everywhere else. I mean, at this point, you get what we're supposed to do, right? Anyway, guys, it has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
Perfect.